Okay, so I'm here with Minnie, which is short for Mini-Me, who is a very anxious toy poodle. Now, I've just gotten done sitting down with the guardian, and we kind of talked about her day-to-day life. Minnie doesn't have any rules and also doesn't know any commands, and she's almost 8 years old. So for a dog to go through life without those, it's hard for her to develop much self-esteem and confidence. Also, because of a lack of rules, I'm pretty sure that she either thinks she's in charge or that she is equal to her in status to the humans. And because humans don't listen to her when she tells them to go away by barking at them or charging at them or nipping at them, that causes a lot of frustration, and she continues to manifest these, and it's resulting in other problems. Aside from her guardian and her voluntarily getting up on the guardian's assistant's lap, I guess nobody else can hold her like this, so I haven't had any problems with it. I was very structurally correct when I picked her up to make sure she had nipped me. She was on the leash first. But she's been pretty much in my lap, and she's been quiet. Now, we talked about providing some structure in terms of perhaps a play panel, doing some kennel training, just to prevent her from moving around and getting all worked up. One of the things I wanted to go over in this video was a technique that I've developed called petting with a purpose. Now, I consider petting a dog our way of paying or compensating them. Now, if she comes up to me and nudges at me or scratches at me or jumps up and barks at me to tell me to pet her, and I pet her consistently, after a while she gets the impression that she's the boss of me because she tells me what to do and I do it. So next time she does that, what I'd like the guardian to do instead of petting her is to ask her to sit. Now, we're gonna have to teach her how to sit in order for her to do that. But once she sits, I would like to pet her under her chin. When a dog feels good about itself, its nose is parallel to the ground or nose is tilted in the air. So you might have seen your dog with something that's not allowed to have, or a special toy walking around the house, their nose in the air. That means they feel good. I want dogs to feel good about doing things that we want them to do, like sitting, coming to us, and laying down. What will happen after a while is she's gonna come and start sitting in front of us saying, hey, I'm sitting, sucker, shouldn't you be petting me? And we should as much as we can. Now, what I like to do is I like to pet like this, under the chin. Now, she doesn't want me to do this because she's, again, insecure, and she doesn't know how to do it, but I just want to demonstrate a little bit. So there we go. So what I do is, as soon as she sits, 2 fingers, or maybe 1 finger in her case, scratch her in the chin, and we say the word sit. That's all. We don't say good sit. We don't say, oh, Mini-Me, you're the smartest dog. How did you know what I wanted you to do? Because we're not even using the command word there. So when she sits, we say the command word sit as we pet her. And like I said, after a while, she'll start doing that more and more often. This gives us the ability to, when she's doing something inappropriate, to actually give her a command to redirect her attention. Sit. Oh, I'm sitting. Shouldn't you be paying attention to me? So instead of biting a client or somebody who happens to be visiting, we can redirect her easily. This will also help her acquire a skill, which will give her a boost of self-esteem and confidence. And because we're removing her perception that she can tell the humans what to do, that will help her feel a little bit more confident, because we're removing a lot of that responsibility from her shoulders, so she doesn't feel like she's in charge of security for the place anymore. I can just go back to being a dog. Now, petting with a purpose is one of the easiest things that you can do that will have the biggest impact if you make it a habit. Most people, they do it a couple times and then they kind of forget. I do it so often now, I don't even think about it. My dog walks up, I use a hand motion to put him in a sit, and I pet him, and I'm having a conversation here with somebody else. 2 conversations simultaneously. If you get in a habit of doing it, every time you do it, it's a mini dog obedience training session that you do with your dog without even thinking about it. So we're reducing stress here, we're helping her identify more as a follower, we're helping her acquire a new skill, and we're stopping her from scratching or biting and nipping at us or demanding from us. And so we get a lot of bonuses from this one little activity. So now one last thing is, I've had clients where the dog is sitting here on the couch next to him, and I ask the client, I'm going to say, hey, I'm going to ask you not to pet your dog while I explain petting with a purpose. And frequently, in the process of going over to do that, they keep on reaching over and petting their dog. In the process of me telling them not to. So it happens so often, what I would recommend is we come up with like a watchword. I usually recommend paycheck. So if the guardian is petting the dog for no reason and the assistant sees it, the assistant can say paycheck, the guardian puts her hands up and says sit. And the dog sits, and then we can pet it again. Once we ask the dog to do something that changes its state, we can pet it for an hour after that if we want. We just have to ask the dog to earn it first. And the way that they earn it is by basically paying for it. And the currency for this is obedience. The more obedient and the more respectful as she identifies as a follower, the less stress she's going to have. We're going to tackle these problems in a lot of different directions at once. This is what I like to call petting with a purpose.